The Reading Racers was originated in 1968, and it was a Division II team. But in 1970, it became a Premier League team. Has a very interesting history. October 8, 2008, the Small Mead Stadium lease expired, and they didn't renew that lease, and it was sold, it was demolished, and there was no more Small Mead Stadium. However, those memories live on. 1968 to 1973, the Reading Racers, they went ahead and raced at the Reading Stadium. 1974, they built a Small Mead Stadium, and the team raced there for some 34 years. The Small Mead events were held at the Junction 11 on the M4 motorway. Over there, I guess it's pretty close to Reading, and it's just a really nice track when they built it in 1974. Crowds average over 6,500 per match from 76 to 79. The people like the Reading Racers. However, in 78, they finished 14th out of 16th place. 1980, the Reading Racers, they had much success as they had three big superstars come in who averaged over 10 points. That was Boogaloo Bobby Schwartz, Jan Anderson, and John Davis. They were the stars, and the crowds came, averaging over 7,000 people. The Reading Racers was a very popular team. The media attention for Reading was high, and the team was doing really well. And then the team hired Bill Dorr to go ahead and run that team. And quietly behind the scenes, the Reading Racers, the team started going down. Before the Reading team went down, they did really well. They're winning many races and many matches with all those good Speedway riders they had on that team. And they won the league championship. They did really excellent. And the insurance company, they doled out to the promoter an extra 40,000 pounds. And they did really well. The Reading Racers in the early 1980s were really excellent.
Excellent, yeah!
The team was down for a while, and they went ahead and hired loyal fan Tim Sugar. Tim Sugar, that's a cool name.
Give me some sugar. Hail to the king, baby.
And he went ahead and was the manager of the Reading Racers. And from 1990 and 92, they won the league championship. They were doing very well. They hired some really great riders. From Sweden, they had Pierre Johnson, who won the 1990 World Championship. They had a great team, they had a great riders, they had a world champion. They also had Jeremy Doncaster from Australia. Jeremy was a very good rider. He definitely helped the Reading Racers a lot. Tim also signed Todd Wilshire. And these guys were the top point getters for the Reading Racers. They were the top three. They just had an amazing run. 1994, Johnson, he had a terrible crash in Poland. It was terrible, he almost died. He was paralyzed for life in a wheelchair. Also, things began to turn for the worse after that particular accident. The crowds went away, the media dropped, everything went bad in Reading. 1995, the team signed a very young 16-year-old Lee Richardson, who went on to have a fabulous British League career. He raced in the GP. He was just a sensational rider. But a lot of young riders, they got their start on the Reading Racers, including Lee Richardson. 1997, Reading turned to be a second-tier British League team. That's the first time they were since 1970. They remained in the Premier League, and about that time, the Elite League get formed, and a lot of the teams were joining the Elite League. However, the Reading, they stayed in the Premier League. They didn't move up, and they won the championship that year, and they had a top rider who was the leader named Dave Mullet. 1999 to 2003 were very lean years for the Reading Racers. They had Chris Shears and his son Ivan. They were running that team, and the team, they didn't do very well. They were struggling at that particular time. 2004, Ivan, he went ahead and pulled the plug on that team manager. He went back to that Tim Sugar guy. Remember we talked about him earlier?
More sugar, please.
And they signed a big TV deal. They got lots of money. They signed riders like Danny Bird and Matt Zagar. They went ahead and they had an outstanding year. They went ahead and they won the Premier League that year. However, in 2005, the expenses were just too much, and the owner had to sell the team in order for the Reading Racers to survive. 2006, BSI Speedway, they purchased the team of Reading, and they changed the name from the Racers to the Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs.
And they went ahead and went to the Elite League. They got rid of the Premier League. But people were mad. They were angry. Why? Because they changed this established name since 1968 to the Bulldogs. And everyone was saying that's bullshit because they wanted the Reading Racers.
Yep, I agree.
The crowds dropped and people were angry, and things just did not go the way BSI intended them to go. 2007, they went ahead and sold that team to Mark Legg. They had no choice. The team was losing huge money. They were averaging less than 900 people in the stands. Mark, he reverted back to the name Reading Racers, got rid of the Bulldogs. Why? Because nobody liked that name and people were boycotting. However, it didn't help at all. The team brought back old Tim Sugar. Remember him? We talked about him.
Just a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. The medicine go down.
And they thought that maybe Tim could revive that team and save it. However, the Reading Racers could not be salvaged. Mark Legg was losing all kinds of money. It was terrible. And 2007 was a bad year. 2008 was a horrible year. It was just a money pit. And Mark Legg, he went ahead and he had no choice, but the lease expired at Reading and he went ahead and let it expire. They went ahead and sold that particular land, and Reading Racers was no more.